All right, we're going to get started. This is our We Fixed It. I think we got 2 or 3 recipes that were sent in. We add recipes to the Faithfully Fit recipe library every day. We've received a few we were asked to convert. Keep in mind, everybody here can post those in the group and let us know that you want yours converted, and we put them in order and we get to them in order. It also makes great classroom material on Saturdays when we do We Fixed It. If we can get participation, we can get more recipes. We've been doing this most, 7-8 months now. So hundreds of recipes have been converted. We used to get 8, 9, 10 per class. So maybe y'all just don't, maybe every recipe in the world is now in that library. It probably is, but, and variations. What a huge recipe library we have. But I like these classes because, hey, Terry, because they help teach the program. They help you understand the program and what we're trying to accomplish. We don't want to put slow digesting fats with fast digesting carbs. That's the essence of the part of the program that's physiological. So We Fixed It's a good way to unpack that together. So we'll do that. Before we get started, I thought I cut that off. So before we get into this, I do see some new names here that you're in the basic program. This has always been something that we have to address. There's no certain food or recipe that causes you to lose weight, that causes you to lose body fat. You have to operate in a calorie deficit, and you have to control insulin, and you have to preserve muscle. We have a system that allows for that. One of the, I think, the errors that people make is doing better. You're doing better, but you're not doing it. You're not doing it daily the way you're supposed to do it. Once you understand insulin and how insulin works in your body, you'll better understand what I'm saying. In other words, you can't have a perfect breakfast, a perfect lunch, have one little Hershey kiss between lunch and dinner, stay below your points, merge in another program, and then for dinner you have a baked potato with a steak and say that's a perfect day. You just can't do it because you're bumping your insulin levels up. What I have found is that fat loss is about controlling insulin in consecutive days. You have to get streaks of what I call perfect days. First, you have to bring down your blood sugar. Then when you bring down the blood sugar, the insulin begins to taper. Then when it tapers below a certain point, that's when you can strike while the iron's hot. So it takes what we call 2 perfect days. Drink your water, journal, eating the right food combinations, 3 eating episodes or less a day, 12 to 16 hour fast, bless the name of the Lord. When you do that in successive days, you will start getting leverage on this thing. But if you are having a few holidays, and that's coupled with days that we say that are perfect but are really okay days, you are almost on point but not quite on point, you will never ever get leverage on yourself. I want to give you some statistics so we have a reason. Know that there's a cause to do this class today. I've been really diving into this because we're looking at tokenizing our ecosystem next year. Tokenizing meaning giving people that's just for fun, but digital meaningless currency just for fun for your weight loss. So in tokenizing it, we looked at the number of pounds that the United States of America is overweight. I did a deep dive into this, and this is astonishing. As I look out into the landscape, I see the shots becoming prevalent. I will do this in class after Thanksgiving. I put together an entire hour lesson, not to bash these companies, but to show you how the companies are giving up. Weight Watchers is giving up. Jenny Craig's giving up. They now have the Weight Watchers Clinic and they're selling shots, they're selling pills, they're selling potions. Shame on the entire industry. Shame. But that's the only way they can stay in business. It's literally written up in their financial report to their investors. The only way that these nutrition education programs, that we're doing things the right way to stay afloat is going to be to sell the drugs because that's where the demand's at. Are y'all listening?
Yes, I am.
I need you to hear me loud and clear.
I do.
It's a bad proposition.
Yes, it is.
I literally got blessed out the other day just because I said, well, I'm concerned about you taking that shot. Let's learn to eat right while you're taking the shot. The shot is good. It's not good. And it's going to come with terrible deleterious side effects. And I've always been one, if I'm offending people, I will adjust my behavior. I'm not adjusting my behavior on this. I don't care if everybody turns me off. You still have to learn to eat properly. You still have to learn to eat properly. Whether you're on a shot, whether you get weight loss surgery, you are not going to mock God. Am I in trouble already? You're not going to mock God. God is not mocked. Okay, you can get some instant gratification. Travis, you just don't want us having the great success that the shots take because you won't get to coach anymore. You got it so wrong. You got it so wrong. You're going to come back full circle over and over again because you can't take those shots forever. And if you do, that's dangerous. They're meant to help you get to a place. Go look at weight loss surgery outcomes, and you will see that after 12 to 18 month window, the vast majority of people put the weight back on. But yeah, Travis, people do that even with a program like this. Absolutely, but there's no negative side effects. You're not putting stuff into your system that you don't even know what it's going to do 5 and 10 years from now. And so far, as they look, literally, we had a client who had a friend who had a heart attack for no reason, and they're saying that it had something to do with the shots. Not trying to scare you. You may need it. I don't know. But if along the way you're not learning discipline, you're not going to be successful. It is short-term success for long-term ramification. No matter what you put in your system, you still have to learn discipline and you still have to learn to eat healthy and right. There's no way around it. So I'm going to read these statistics to you. When I was looking at tokenizing our system to see if it's possible, according to the recent data, 73% of adults in the United States are overweight, obese, or morbidly obese, with increases in this number every single year. It's also connected with the more we come out with weight loss programs, weight loss aids, weight loss helps, it's actually increasing the obesity epidemic. Based on CDC statistics, about 30%, and this will be lower than what it is, about 30% of adults are overweight. You've exceeded BMI. About 42% are obese. You're up to 100 pounds overweight. And then 9% are morbidly obese. In the overweight category, Americans are overweight by 1.95 billion pounds. So 2 billion pounds. Y'all stay with me. Does anybody know how many calories are locked in a pound of fat? 3,500. My calculator won't give me that many zeros, But that's how much the American 3,500 times 2 billion. That's how many calories we have overeaten. That is a shame. We are supposed to be the most Christian nation, and we can't stop it with drug addiction, alcohol addiction, and more especially food addiction. You will not hear it preached behind the pulpit because either the pastor's afraid to lose the money or the pastor's overweight himself. Let's pick on something that none of the congregation is dealing with. This is a huge issue. Do the math. That's how, there's no way to sugarcoat it. That's how much we have overeaten as a society, using food as a coping mechanism. This isn't lazy people. These are people who work every day like you and I. Obese. Americans, this is not the world, this is America. We've overeaten by 8 billion pounds times 3,500 calories. Morbidly obese people have overeaten by 3.5, they're overweight by 3.5 billion pounds times 3,500. I'm going to do the math. I've got the grand total here. I'm going to lose users today. Lord, why do you make me do this stuff? All right, so look, we are overweight as a society, a Christian nation, 13, or we say we are, 13,575,000,000. 13,575,000,000 times 3,500 pounds, 3,500 calories per pound. So here's how much the United States, this is the number of calories that the United States have overeaten by. Are you ready? 47 trillion. It's greater than the national debt. You would actually get rid of the national debt. Are you hearing me? Are you conscientious? We could actually cure the national debt if we got rid of these pounds, because so much of it's because of health care and mental health. And 47 trillion, 512 billion, 500 million calories eaten too much by the overweight populace. We are a Christian nation that has zero self-restraint. Now, I'm going to stop there before we get into we fixed it. You have to talk about the pain before you can talk about the pleasure. You have to talk about the problem before we talk about the solution. Is there a cause? How does that make some of you feel? I want to be in that fight. And I don't want to sell drugs. I've had the opportunity to for years. It's one of the reasons, not just bad business, one of the reasons we didn't survive in the last format is because there was mass exodus to the shots. People walked in the center every day. Do y'all do the shots? What do you feel about that? Almost 50 trillion calories too much and growing daily. By the end of this holiday season, that might be 100 trillion. What do you think about that? How does that strike you? Do you want to be in this fight with me? Then start with yourself. This problem is, we're worried about Putin. We're worried about wokeness. We're worried about all these things. This problem alone is going to sack the United States of America, guaranteed. It's going to sack us. What are your thoughts about that? Miss Cindy.
Well, I can't be quiet. So here we go. I just calculated how many calories that means that I overate by the time I get to my goal weight. And that was a pretty staggering number. And so I was a huge contributor toward that number you shared. And I've been thinking a lot lately about how how being overweight, morbidly obese, because I would have fallen in that category, um, how pressed down I felt. And I typically, express myself pretty joyful, that kind of thing. I guess with my job, I have to. So it begins to be something that you begin to be an actress. And what I have found is that I am finding true joy. And it's not solely because the weight is coming off, it's because of the connection that I'm making through discipline to God. And, He's put that in each one of us to have that discipline. It is a fruit of the Spirit. And I want to exhibit that fruit in many ways. And I want it to be food involved as well. And I just had a member text me this morning and she said, "Have you thought at all about why you gained your weight back?" And she said, "I know you're a thinker." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I quit on myself. I decided that big stressors and little stress was more important than my health." And so it's a staggering number. And I'm looking forward to journeying alongside of you to see if we can't help more people uh, do the same thing that you've done and that many others have done through the years. So thank you for bringing this information to us. It's hard to hear, but but sobering thoughts are hard to hear sometimes.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. It first starts with your own personal self-examination. I have used things to cope with reality for a long time and no more. And Cindy, thank you for that. And everybody listening, let me give you the secret sauce that I believe is the secret sauce. We're going to do We Fixed It. I know some just come for that. It won't do you any good. It won't do you any good. We Fixed It only does you good when the behavior begins to change daily. So the secret sauce is you have to eat properly and right as an act of worship. That's the secret sauce, an act of connection and communion with your Creator. It is blasphemy to think that you're outside of your Creator. You're not duality, you are oneness with the Creator. So to not realize that when He said, whatever you do, whether you eat, whether you drink, whatever you do it unto me. And we grumble about dieting. Are we supposed to? No. Do it with love in your heart and know that, hey, I want this Twinkie, but I'm not eating this Twinkie. I'm eating unto the Lord. That's better than any shot, any supplement, anything that I can say is knowing you are not your own. You have been bought with a price. And I'm thankful that there's a new administration that at least, whether they live it or not, I don't know and don't care. At least they're saying those things, because that's the secret sauce, is that you, with your temple, that you honor God, because there are days Travis Jack does not want to eat right. He does not even care about himself. But I do want to stay connected to the Lord. And if I realize that every day I've got a plan, and even though I don't want to do that plan, I do it and I live it unto the Lord as an act of connection and communion with the Most High God. That's the underlying, that's the foundation. And if you will live that foundation with me and choose this program or whatever one you want, I'll still help you as long as it follows good strategy. You will, within 6 months, change your life. Everything I just said individually can be eradicated in less than 6 months, and you don't have to go anywhere to get your food except for the local grocery store. What in the ham sandwich are we doing? One of the things that we keep programming in is like you have a report card, and we even have to change the name of the report card to the achievement report to not offend people. I may be done with that shortly because you can't help but offend. But there's a report. You can turn it off and you can turn it on if you don't want to see it. But one of the things I've asked Sergey to do as soon as I seen the statistics, I want in everybody's account. They can turn it on, they can turn it off. I want them to see by how many calories they've overeaten right in their face as soon as they log in. And if they don't want to see that because it hurts their feelings, they can turn it off. No, Jack is not back. Are y'all with me? You can turn it off. It's no problem. Out of sight, out of mind. But I want to know, I'm not disgusted with myself. I'm disgusted with what the devil has stolen from me. And right in front of my face, I want to see it so that you can reverse engineer that. He's also programming in a place where you can type in your food, like in the journal, and Harmony, the assistant inside of the website, will say, this is how many calories you've approximately eaten today, and we'll deduct it from that total. How does that sound? Big deal, huh? Did y'all all hear what I said? You can turn it off, but you're going to log in January 1st, and it's going to say you've overeaten by this number of calories. You'll be able to type it in your journal, and if you're accurate in what you type in, it will give you the approximate calories and deduct it from your total. It will also give you a token for every pound lost that says, congratulations, here's your little token. And we'll find fun things you can spend that on that don't cost me money. Maybe for features or something like that, where you can unlock features, because I don't have any money to pay people to lose weight. But we're getting serious about this being a community-driven, mission-oriented program. A couple more things before I get into We Fixed It. After Thanksgiving, we have a challenge coming up. We also have the 4-week class coming up. And then next year, we've got, let me pull this up real quick. 2 things I promised to get to We Fixed It. Now that I've hit hard, I want to give you a solution. So next year, we've got the faith-driven book. It has all of the grocery store formulas in it. It has my story all the way down to losing the last company. So you've got my story in it. It's your story too. I guarantee you, we've all been through stuff. And it's got all of the grocery store formulas in it. It's got 7 lesson plans that we'll be taking a whole group through, all in the book as we move more toward like a Dave Ramsey model. There's limited quantities. We have to buy it in batches to make it affordable. So we've only earmarked for 1,000 pieces. So next year, January the 13th, we'll all have our book and we'll go through the book together and each of the lesson plans. So the faith-driven book, and then there is, show you one more thing here, if I can find it. Oh, I don't see it. I did have it. Hold on. We're almost done. You'll be done with me. We also, to help us get through the slow season, to help the mission get through the slow season, we've got 100 of these books. This is the, if I can get it to slide. This is Festive and Faithful Holiday Cookbook. It goes through the Holiday Shield. It goes through the mindset to get through the holidays, finding peace. And then we've got some great fun recipes that are approved: control insulin, cranberry mint spritzer, cinnamon apple infused water, holiday citrus cooler. Got some more exercise suggestions that are easy to do during the holidays: cooking oil substitutes, salad dressing substitutes, green bean casserole, cornbread dressing, Fiber Gourmet mac and cheese, sweet potato casserole with pecan topping. All these are approved. Buttermilk biscuits approved, etc. Low carb pecan pie, pumpkin pie, all kind of fun stuff in that book. There's only 100 copies meant to help us get into the next year. For those of you that want it, you'll get the free download before Christmas, and then under your Christmas tree, there'll be the faith-driven book and the Christmas holiday book, the physical copies. So those of you that keep supporting us during this challenging transition, we love you. We appreciate you. We hope that we're helping lives, enhancing lives, and saving lives. Can't do it without you. Any comments on that before I pull up We Fixed It? I'm trying to find We Fixed It. Hang on. I get lost with all these open windows. Sorry, guys. There it is. All right, let's get started with what you come for. I again think this is one of the best ways to learn this program, because you're learning what we're trying to keep away from each other. We're trying to keep long-chain triglycerides away from fast-digesting carbohydrate. The American diet is full of combinations, processed ones at that, fast-digesting carbohydrate, sugar and starch, and slow-digesting fats and trans fats. Kiss of death. If you do that consistently, you die early. So we want to stop that. Crockpot chicken enchilada pasta submitted by the amazing Kathy Austin. Ingredients: red enchilada sauce. That's not a problem. Chicken breast, not a problem. That's a category 1. And enchilada sauce, I happen to know, is negligible anything. Canned green chilies, category 2. Garlic, freebie. Chili seasoning, freebie. Then we got noodles. We'll come back to that because that could be a problem. Anything that says noodles is a problem. Greek plain yogurt, category 1. Diced green onions and fat-free shredded cheese. The only thing that could be a problem would be if this had full fat cheese and regular pasta, but it doesn't. We got rid of the fat. Now, fat-free, people are afraid of it these days because to them that means high sugar and highly processed. It is processed, but cheese is one of those things that fat-free benefits those of us trying to lose weight. We don't want to look at the marketing. We want to look at the nutritional profile. Thankfully, fat-free shredded cheese just means that they've removed some of the fats from it, and you're basically left with nothing but protein. So it's not good taste. It's not very good tasting by itself because it's not fatty. But when you add it to recipes, it's pretty darn good because you're adding it to things that are going to moisten it. Switching to the Fiber Gourmet noodles is ideal. Fiber Gourmet, the pasta that we prefer, Miracle pasta is the best for weight loss. Miracle noodles. Any of the category 2 spirals, like zucchini spirals, rice, cauliflower, this is ideal. When we need a noodle, the next best is Explore Cuisine. That's fantastic for weight loss, especially black bean or mung bean. Then you got Fiber Gourmet and Carbonata. They work too. Fiber Gourmet is going to taste more like a traditional pasta. This recipe looks yummy. If I keep this under 2 cups, here's how I would have this. Under 2 cups would be a meal. Less than a cup with a lean protein would be a meal. That's a perfect pairing meal. So I could have this with a lean protein and be fine, but I need to have a cup or less. If I want more of the pasta, I can have up to 2 cups as my meal episode. Does that make sense, everyone? And you could have up to 2 cups also with any category 2 veggie. What do you think about that one? That looks good. Something that I think I would do. Creamy. That Greek plain yogurt and that fat-free cheese is going to bring that cheese alive. And then you got the fiber in the Fiber Gourmet pasta. As long as I don't overeat it, the starch in it isn't going to negate my results. These are all added to the I Am Faithfully Fit website. Some, because it takes us a couple of days to get them in there, some will screenshot this, and you're welcome to do that. What do y'all think about that one? Is that something you would do? Did that make sense, Lisa, what I said? Up to 2 cups meal. I would call this up to 2 cups. I would call it probably a 0 on the weight loss meter. Won't hurt you, won't help you. That's perfect for weight loss. I would do a -1 if it's a perfect pairing, because we're reducing the quantity but adding lean protein, so the overall ratio is better that way. If we use it as a side item or a perfect pairing item. Everybody good with that one? Looks delicious. So normally, if I were to have this recipe, in actuality, it's gonna call for regular pasta and it's gonna call for cheese. You're getting Fat Bus City and you're storing all that bad fat easily, efficiently, and readily, and it elevates your appetite and keeps you in fat storing mode for 2 more days. With just those pivots, we just fixed all of that. With a little pivot, it went from fat storing to fat losing. I like it. Tastes good, lose weight instead of taste good, gain weight. Christmas coffee punch. Let's take a look. We've got 4 cups of strong coffee. That's a freebie. 2 cups of milk, whole or 2%. 1 cup of heavy cream, granulated sugar, cocoa powder, vanilla extract, cinnamon, nutmeg, whipped cream, chocolate shavings, or holiday sprinkles. Do we have any problem here with this recipe? Y'all see a problem? Y'all got quiet on me. All those statistics made you mad, or are you washing clothes? Gail says, hey, Gail, sugar and fat. This one's a problem. This little holiday treat is going to cost you 2 to 3 days of your fat loss journey. Does that not scare the heck out of you? This ain't a hollow meal. This is a holiday. You got a Greyhound bus coming, not the short bus. So we're going to do the coffee. We got to get rid of this milk. Whole milk is full of fat and sugar. Skim milk is full of sugar. What can we do there? How can we fix this? Oh, good idea. Carb Master vanilla milk, fat-free milk. Kroger Carb Master milk or fat-free Fairlife. Not reduced Fairlife, but fat-free Fairlife. Either one of those fixes that part. Okay. Then we got heavy cream. That's mostly fat. I just fixed the milk part. So let me see if I can keep the fat. Since I got rid of the sugar, I can keep the fat and have a better tasting drink. Granulated sugar. Can I use monk fruit here or allulose?
Travis,
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking you can use monk fruit, but if you're using vanilla Carb Master, that's going to give you some sweetness right there, so you're not going to have as much sugar, regardless of what you use, right?
True. That's right. You might even make it, good point, because you might even make it too sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might want to back down on that granulated sugar to less than 1/4 of a cup. Back it down to like monk fruit. You may not even need it, like Gail's saying. You may want to try it without the sugar, without the substitute. Good point. Stevia works. Any of the approved sweeteners. Stevia, here's the approved sweeteners. Not in order of wellness. Sucralose, aka Splenda, xylitol, erythritol, monk fruit, allulose, stevia. Any of those would work. Cocoa powder's not a problem. Vanilla extract's not a problem. Cinnamon and nutmeg's not a problem. I'd probably go fat-free whipped cream because I got the heavy cream. I'd get that little fat-free Ready Whip right on top, no problem. Some chocolate shavings, no problem. Stay away from the sprinkles. I'd get some of those dark chocolate shavings, and you've got an excellent snack here. You would have to call this a snack episode. So how would I have that? Let's say I know I'm having it during the day. I'd have a freebie for the morning. I'd have my morning coffee. Then for lunch, I'd have my approved sandwich. Then for dinner, I would have a chicken breast and broccoli. And then for dessert, I would have this. How many eating episodes would that be? How many eating episodes did I just go over? Did anybody hear that? I manipulated the system to get this in and have a perfect day. Actually, I only had three. I only had 3 eating episodes. I had coffee for breakfast. I had lunch, simple sandwich that was approved. Then I had my whole food meal at night. And for dessert, I had this. That's 3 eating episodes.
So Travis, are you saying that you keep the heavy cream in there if you make the other adjustments?
I would.
Okay.
I found that just stuff like this tastes better with heavy cream.
Mm-hmm.
So when something's got heavy cream, to me, that's where the flavor's coming. And for me, and then I just get rid of the sugar and starch and I'm good. But as long as y'all know the swaps, and if you've been coming to We Fixed It for a while, you know how to play. You know how to play with this. That's what I would do, though.
So if you start with 4 cups of brewed strong coffee and add all that other stuff in there, how many servings is this? Lunch.
Probably 8 ounces is going to be a half a snack. That's my guess.
Okay.
We can go up to 200 calories. So 16 ounces is going to hit about 200 calories. So up to 2 8-ounce servings. The less is always best with a snack. But it's a lifestyle we're living. I could actually have this as a snack in a 4th eating episode. I'm just probably not going to lose much weight that day. That's fine, though. The entire journey is not about losing weight every day. It's about enjoying the journey. Some days we maintain, some days we lose. Instead of some days we maintain and some days we gain. We're just changing the math of the thing up. Does that make sense how I put that? We're just changing the math. Before, we had weight gain days and maintenance days. Now we're having maintenance days and weight loss days. We're enjoying the journey. This is an enjoy the journey without losing 2 or 3 days of the journey. Another good one. All right, here's another one. Creamy chicken pasta. Boy, why do I do these when I'm hungry? Creamy chicken pasta with Italian flavors. 2 chicken breasts, fettuccine, olive oil, heavy cream, chicken broth, Parmesan. Any problems with this one? How many days of the journey are we about to lose for some comfort? Penny says, yeah. Yup. We're about to lose several days of our weight loss journey over 5 minutes of gratification. Chicken breast is a 1. What can we do with this fettuccine? By the way, don't overlook riced cauliflower. I know it's not pasta, but pasta and rice simply adopts the flavors of what it's prepared with. And I've gotten where when I don't have any approved pasta on hand, I just use riced cauliflower. You could use carbonara here. That's a good one. I would still lean into Fiber Gourmet over carbonara. Yeah, I would too. I would use rice cauliflower. It's delicious that way. This is over rice instead of pasta. You could use the category 2 vegetable spirals. I would use Fiber Gourmet. The olive oil is an easy swap. This is a slow digesting fat that should never be cooked anyway. What are we switching it to? MCT oil. Now we don't have to worry about it. We're good now. I got my heavy cream. I've got rid of the starch. I'm okay with my heavy cream. I need to switch to what kind of chicken broth?
Fat free.
Hey, Brother Charles. We got Will and Brother Charles. How many of us men folk are represented? This might be a record. Yeah, fat-free chicken broth. Parmesan's good. We're good. So here's how we have this. Up to 2 cups is a meal, or up to 1 cup with a lean protein side item. You'd have a perfect pairing. You could use, Penny said I'd use thinned Greek yogurt. You could. Yep. Cut out some calories. Definitely. Some Greek plain yogurt. Sounds good to everybody? That sounds good to me. That's something I would do. Could you swap out the chicken for fish? I mean, shrimp? Could I get me some shrimp or scallops with this? I got several recipes here in one. I could ditch the chicken and replace it with any lean meat. I've got multiple dishes there if I'm wanting a pasta dish. Get me some jumbo lump crab meat. I can see me doing that. Yummy. Shrimp. Yeah, some surf and turf. Well, could you do surf and turf? Let's think about that. I could switch and put steak because we got rid of we got rid of that pasta. But you've now your weight loss meter's coming down, going up, not meaning not as good. Because we're adding fat. We got some potential here. If we're using carbonara pasta, we got some potential for fat storage with that fat. I'd be careful with adding a category 4. I'd be real careful with adding a category 4. You'd have to dial back on the pasta, I think. But switching out with any lean protein, you're going to be fine. 2-ounce lean sirloin and 2-ounce shrimp with cauliflower rice. You just got a new recipe. Yeah, what you just said, we could turn this into a new recipe that would actually be like a -1 or -2. Because we know we're not having the carbonara, but because there would be so many edits in the description, we would just make an entire new recipe for that one. You might even want to screenshot this, Penny, and send this one to us, and we can come up with a new name for it and everything. That's a good idea. Would be delicious. Something I would like even better. All right, mini lemon cheesecake. They might be getting more difficult. Cream cheese, sugar, lemon, eggs. Ooh, vanilla wafers. I don't have a solution. Maybe someone here does. So here's what I would do up until that part. Then I'm going to call it a hollow meal unless y'all got ideas. So I could do fat-free cream cheese. I could do monk fruit. The lemon's not a problem. I could do 1 large egg and 3 egg whites. Vanilla extract, lemon. So I can fix this, but I don't know what to do about the wafer cookies. Does anybody have an idea about how to replace the vanilla wafers? Is that going to be let's see how they're using that. Place a wafer flat side down in the bottom of each muffin cup. Okay, so that's like your crust. You could do it without the vanilla wafers. Is that, yeah, crustless. Would that be worth it, do you think? We would call it the crustless mini lemon cheesecake. You could use biscotti, but I'm not aware of where to get it right now. Sugar-free cookies are full of starch, Melinda. They trick you with that. A lot of those sugar-free wafers, there's a lot of starch. There's no sugar, but the starch is worse for you than sugar. Does that make sense, Melinda? Those are a little scary because they're so full of starch. I think I agree with Penny. I would do this crustless. Now, Bobby, that's a good idea. What about a Lenny and Larry cookie crushed up? Could you do that? You could do a Lenny and Larry cookie there. I didn't think of that. That's creative there. You could do it crustless or replace with a Lenny and Larry cookie. Yeah, the snickerdoodle. Good job, ladies. Lenny and Larry snickerdoodle cookie. Man, boy, this is sounding better than the original. Heck yeah. How many of y'all like that? I like that. Let's do crustless, but in the description put you can replace the vanilla wafers and have a crust with Lenny and Larry snickerdoodle. Let's go back over this one because there was a lot. We got to use fat-free cream cheese, category 1. We got to use monk fruit, allulose, or approved sweetener. We've got to replace the vanilla wafers with Lenny and Larry cookie. And then we're good. Done deal. Nothing else will change. Oh, the eggs. I would suggest that you, for every egg that you need to replace, is 3 egg whites. So I would probably, for me, I would experiment with 1 whole egg and bring those calories down and the fat down, 1 whole egg and 3 egg whites. Oh, the lemon curd. I'm sorry. Let's go look. One cup store-bought. I missed that altogether. The topping. 1 cup store-bought or homemade lemon curd. I missed that totally. You wouldn't want to do that. Somebody, does y'all know what's in the lemon curd? I bet it's high sugar. It's a guess. I don't know that I've ever had any.
Hey, Travis, I just found ingredients real quick, and it looks like it's got sugar, lemon zest, lemon juice, salt, unsalted butter, and egg yolk. So you can change out the sugar and the unsalted butter, and you got it, don't you? I don't know what it would do.
See if this matches up with what you just said. So I run this through Harmony with our snack formula, and it says the following. Based upon Chabot's-approved formulas for snacks, you could use, for the curd, you could use lemon juice, erythritol, egg yolks, stir until thickened, ghee butter, and you'd be good to go. Does that sound about what you just said?
Yeah. I wasn't sure about if the ghee butter for the unsalted butter would work, but everything else would. So yeah.
And Robin said just use fresh lemon juice. You don't need the curd. She's a baker. That's good. Good deal. Lemon juice is freebie. Yeah. So I'm going to give y'all this, Lisa, make sure you get from me this curd recipe, and we can also use Robin's idea there. I looked at the overall serving, and it would be 140 calories, 7 grams of protein, 4 net carbs. It's perfect. So I can get that to you. If you'll remind me, I'll get you the curd recipe. Easy to do. Good deal. Let me find that again. Where did it go? Let me get it back up. Did we have any more? Nope, that was it for today. So let me pull it back up and let's settle in on this. All right, so there's the instructions that we have to alter with the ingredient swaps that we made. And then here's the serving size though. If you put it in a regular muffin tin, 1 to 2 of those is a snack. 1 to 2 is a snack. You could not use it as a meal and go over 200 calories. Does anybody know why you could not use that as a meal and go over 200 calories? This is all in the book, by the way, shameless plug. Yeah, Gail, so as we go up in calories, we need more protein and fiber per calorie to shut down the fat bus. If we keep it under 200 calories, I need less and less protein and fiber. So there's no way to get this protein high enough and maintain the recipe if I go over 200 calories. Is everybody good with that one? Did you learn anything, Dave? Did you have fun?
Travis,
Yes.
can we go back to this just a second? Can
Yep.
you use that as a dessert at the end of a 1+2 meal?
Yes. So here again, here's how I would do this. Unless I've got a lot of weight to lose, a ton of weight to lose, then we can get away with 4 eating episodes. I've settled into this. So I usually skip a meal that's not important to me by having something like regular coffee. That's usually breakfast for me. Then for lunch, I will get hungry 4 or 5 days a week. So instead of skipping lunch, I'll have something light that's approved because I don't have a lot of weight to lose. So I'll have go back to approved sandwich, or I'll go by Wendy's and get me a chili. That's the first eating episode. Then after lunch, or I could have a red column dinner if I still want to lose weight fast. I could have my little Wendy's chili, and then for dinner, I could have uh, shrimp salad. Put me some baby. I've been doing that a lot lately. Them little baby petite shrimp on my salad, blah, blah, blah. And then after the meal, I could have 1 or 2 of these regular size as a dessert. And that would be my third eating episode for that day. A snack, you can't have 2 meals back to back unless you're doing OMAD. But a snack you can have irrespective of the time that you had the meal. So you can use your snacks as a dessert if you saved your eating episode. Now, if I have a breakfast, lunch, and dinner and this, it's still a perfect day. But if I don't have a lot of weight to lose, I'm not going to be losing any body fat that day.
Hey, Brother Travis,
Yes, sir.
I got a question kind of off topic. We ordered some of the berberine, and I know the bottle says take 1 pill before a balanced meal. My question is, could you just take 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening and it still work as well, or do you have to take it before you eat?
You don't have to take it before you eat. You don't. You can take it any time that you want to take it, up to twice a day. It is better to follow their directions, but because of Allego, you're going to absorb it either way. So like if you're doing 1 meal a day and you're wanting to have it not around any eating episode, it's fine. I don't have any significant blood sugar drop, but when I do take berberine for support every day, my average, I wear a glucose monitor. My glucose on average for the week stays 5 to 10 points lower with berberine than without it. If I'm wanting significant blood sugar drops quickly, I use Carbees. Berberine is more than just a glucose management system. It's a longevity system. Some of the results they're finding with berberine is like metformin without the side effects. Pretty amazing. I'm not a doctor. That was for entertainment purposes only, but I'm looking at the hard data, my own body, my own glucose monitored constantly.
Well, I think I told you the other night, I don't remember if I did or not. I got my blood work back, and y'all know I've been off plan for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months now, maybe. I don't even know how long, too long. I got my blood work back. I had My vitamin D was low, and A1, they went back and did A1C, and it was 5.8. She said it was just up like 0.3, but said the doctor wanted to start me on metformin at night, and I told her no. I just wasn't doing that. She said, "Well, you got 3 months till your next blood work, and see if you can get it down." But I do know that this works, and I do know in 3 months I could shock them, if I get on it like I know how to do.
You could. Can I shock you and say something you're not going to expect me to say?
Sure.
I would call that doctor and say, write me a prescription for metformin.
Really.
Yes. So let me explain why. Okay. Metformin is not just a glucose management tool. It has some side effects, but they're not so negative that they negate the good that it would do you, Charles, who's really struggled with this. It's much better for you than Ozempic or Wegovy. It's going to have profound impact on your appetite by keeping your glucose lower. I would, in addition to that, take berberine, and I would take that metformin for 3 months while following this program. And then I would drop the metformin and stay on the berberine. This is for entertainment purposes only. That's what I would do if I were you.
All right.
Metformin is going to preserve your mitochondrial health while you're doing this. Everybody here doesn't need that, but you've struggled with the cycle. So your doctor give you really good advice.
Thank you, brother.
You're welcome. I know you, so I'm suggesting this for entertainment purposes because, I've been walking this journey with you for 5 or 6 years, and I think this might be the leverage you need while you're fired up about coming back again. But you don't need to stay on it permanently when you can take something like berberine and it has no negative side effects or consequences. But both of them together is a potent combination, well worth it for you.
Thank you, brother, and appreciate you always being there for me.
You
Love you, buddy.
I love you too. Now, if somebody else heard that and you're about to call your doctor to get on metformin, you don't need it unless we know more about your situation for entertainment purposes. Then you can make that decision. It's not ideal, but when you have somebody that's really struggling with the constant cycle of yo-yoing, that heart condition is going to suffer. So it's better to get all the help that you can get. I'm not on board with those other shots yet. And I don't think I ever will be because there's too much hard data that they're really bad for you. You've got people that are in sports, professional athletes that need to protect their mitochondrial health that have no blood sugar issues, and they do metformin. I think berberine would be better, but safer if you get a good quality. Anybody else? Why does all that matter? Let's talk real quickly, just so you know. Berberine, carbies, metformin, you're maintaining a lower blood sugar. When you keep your blood sugar between 80 and 120 points and you're in a calorie deficit, you lose fat all day long. As soon as you get outside of those parameters, you cease to lose very much body fat, even if you're in a calorie deficit. The higher your blood sugar load every day, every week, every month, the less fat that you lose because you have more insulin in your bloodstream. It's a direct relationship between your blood sugar and the amount of insulin running through your bloodstream. We're trying to bring the insulin down. Less insulin, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, more calorie deficit, more fat loss. This program works better than any pharmaceutical on the market because it controls insulin better than any pharmaceutical on the market. Cindy.
A few messages about grazing, and thank you. Thank you. Somehow that left me last go round, and that hasn't been an issue for me this time. So you drove it home with me on grazing, okay?
Awesome.
What I want to know is when we graze throughout the day, that little spike, even if it's an approved food, how is that affecting our overall day? And what I mean by that is even if it's an approved food, it's a pickle, it's a cucumber, it's a, I don't know, whatever, but it's even just we'll call it a negligible amount in our mind. How does that affect our insulin overall?
Okay, so nobody write on my whiteboard, keep your finger off, because I still don't know how to prevent people from doing it. So you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay. So we need to keep our insulin levels down here. Here's 1, here's 10.
Wait, we can't see your whiteboard.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me share. Share
Well,
your,
it just says preparing your whiteboard experience. Maybe I did something wrong.
oh,
Let me
Uh,
turn my mic off though, while
let's see.
you're not on the board.
Let me go back to it. Now, can y'all see it? Y'all can see it
Yes,
now? Okay.
yes.
So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 10 on the insulin, 1 on the insulin. We need to keep insulin down here. So we start off from a spike and we get started on our program Monday. That spike had our insulin levels up here. You can't lose body fat. All you can lose is water and glucose. So after a couple of days on the program, if we do perfect days, we're down here. Then let's say that we graze on something first. Let's choose something we shouldn't have. So you don't get a significant bump, but you get a little bump. And then it takes a little while for that to get back down. And you're venturing above the line a little bit with these little grazing bumps. And then on the weekend, you bump it high. And you're continuing to develop this habit of grazing so that even on your perfect days, as the insulin's coming down, it isn't all the way down, but you bumped it a little and you put it right back up there. When you're grazing, you're keeping your insulin levels up here. They can never get down because you're bumping them. If you get your insulin levels way down here, occasionally it's fool's gold because you could bump a little bit with a graze and still stay under the line. You could bump it every day and still stay under the line if you're just barely bumping it, barely grazing. But then you have those holidays, then it's up here again and you never get below the line. Now, that was a lot of fuzzy math. But what you're saying, what's wrong with grazing with cucumbers and things like that? Absolutely nothing. If you remember this, grazing on cucumbers is a coping mechanism. Grazing leads to grazing on cucumbers for almost all humankind leads to grazing on Doritos because you're not breaking the coping mechanism habit. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it makes sense. Like I said, you drove it home with me, but I'm trying to relay it because you hadn't drove it home with them yet. So I'm trying to relay it because, I'm thrilled that it's only a cucumber or a chunk of a cucumber or whatever. That's great. That's better than a Dorito. I get what you're saying, but my question is about how can I help them understand, or is there a way to help them understand that that's still spiking your insulin a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I wrong in that thinking?
No. So it's not spiking your insulin. It might even help them,
Okay.
but I think it's the awareness. So I keep a bowl of freshly sliced cucumbers in my fridge with apple cider vinegar, salt, pepper, sometimes a little of that Cajun seasoning.
Mhm.
And when I get the knickknacks at night, I'll opt for that, and I've done myself no harm, but it's coping. There's no nutrient value there that's helping me. It's satisfying my mind while I'm slowing down the day and watching TV. Mostly cucumbers is just water, but I need to be aware because I'm actually needing to step back from my thoughts and feelings and ask myself, why am I doing this? Why could I not hold space without eating something so that I can address that? Because for me anyway, and I think for most people, if I maintain, especially without awareness, if I think, oh, it's a freebie, I can have it, that's great. But those freebies often turn in to other coping mechanisms when you get tired of those freebies. Does that make sense?
It does. And so that gives me a new springboard because I haven't talked to them about insulin because I wanted to talk to you about it, but that gives me a new springboard, to say, okay, what's triggered? What are you coping? Those kind of things. Obviously, they don't have to answer me. It's for them to answer the question themselves. So yes, thank you. I've
Yeah,
been wanting to ask that question for about 2 weeks, and it's like it goes in and out of the brain. So thank you for taking time this morning with me.
absolutely. What finally got me to my goal weight after years of losing 80% of my weight, teaching while I had only lost 80% of what I needed to lose, was when I said, what else am I not identifying here? And it was grazing on freebies, sugar-free Jello, cucumbers, cabbage. Those things never hurt me, but I wasn't addressing the underlying issue. And Lisa just said, if we don't crucify our flesh, it will take total control. You give the flesh an inch and it will take a mile. It will destroy your life before lunchtime each day if we let it. You have to crucify it. Good point, Lisa. Now it's hard to get people to, they think they can handle it, but nobody here without the help of the Holy Spirit is equipped to deal with your flesh. In fact, we talk a lot about the devil, we talk a lot about Satan, and I thought that it was Satan that was the real problem. Satan is not a problem. He doesn't even have the keys to his own kingdom anymore. Satan doesn't even have enough power to be considered God's enemy. He is your adversary. The Bible says that God's only enemy is the carnal mind. And yes, it's talking about your flesh is carnal mind. You have to crucify it. Easier said than done. At least it has been for me.
Travis, can I add something to that?
Absolutely.
I've been doing a in-depth, like it's 8 or 12 week study of the book of James, and we're only on like week 2 right now, and it has completely opened my eyes. And I don't mean that like this. Once I tell you what I'm going to say, I think that's kind of a pun, but they're in the Bible, all throughout the Bible, they were saying how people fell to sin, and the pattern is the same. They see it, they want it, they take it, and then it leads to death or destruction.
Yep.
So they were saying the eyes are the lamp to the body. And once you see something, you create that desire for it, and then you take it, and then it leads to death. It leads to sin, which leads to death. And that, to me, every time I read that, it was just food. Every time I'd think, I'm like, well, I'm going to avoid places where I would see it, because that's where it starts.
Yeah.
And then it leads to death.
Yes. Amen. Amen. So in my walk, since, the self-destructing yet again, in my walk, I am learning. I don't want to ever say I've mastered it because I have not. I'm a child. I have learned the following, that my mind and my words are the steering wheel to this vehicle of a body that my spirit is in. And what I say, what I think is what I say, and what I say ends up what I do, and what I do repeatedly becomes a real problem. It leads to death. The carnal mind is at enmity against God, And if we're not going in the direction we want to go with eating behavior or whatever, all we need to do is change where we're turning that steering wheel. Our thoughts, our words, then our actions will follow suit. So we are not our thoughts, y'all. Yeah, some of y'all remember the trouble I got in. We're supposed to move on from that topic. Now I have tried. We are not our thoughts. I promise you, if you quit thinking right now, you will still be here and you'll be divine. Your thoughts are the problem. Your thoughts are the veil that prevents you from seeing God clearly, that you are not outside of God, but in God. You are oneness. God doesn't have to think. God just is. He's always present and nowhere absent. I don't know if I'm making sense, but this leads to bad eating behavior when we let the carnal mind lead the way. It's God's only enemy. And it's so hard to stop thinking, isn't it? It's hard. Your body knows what to do without you thinking. I'll put it that way. You won't even procrastinate when you stop thinking. Anybody else? Thank you, Lisa. All right. I hope that you'll consider praying and continuing to support us. We certainly need it. If you're in the Fast Track 10 website, the Shibboleth website, and haven't upgraded, it does help our developer keep that up and running. That company is now defunct and bankrupt, but we've made it a free community program. So we've got that. But if you're ready to take the deeper dive with us, come be with us at Faithfully Fit. It starts at $10 a month. And we have a great team. It takes a lot of money to keep that thing going. And we appreciate all the support and prayers we're getting. We love you all. Motorola. All right. Cancer-free 3 months. You're back. I love it. Congratulations. Glory to God. Do we have people that's going to do the challenge or come back and do the classes next month? We have people that's going to come go with us. You got the free 4-week class. You got the challenge. You got next week before Thanksgiving, the Faithfully Fit group will be looking at lectins and oxalates. Just fun stuff all the time. Got a detox starting on December the 1st. I promised our group did great with the detox, but I had a funeral to go to in another state, so I'm going to have to restart mine. I had to speak, staying with other people. Everybody good? I love you. I appreciate the interaction. That's what makes these classes is the interaction, and we appreciate it. It's more fun when other people get involved. All right, I'm going to close us out in prayer, and I hope y'all have an amazing Saturday and Sunday. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in the earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day, Lord, our daily bread, and forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. Thank y'all. Lisa said, James Living the Life of Faith by Jennifer Wilkin. That's the book she's referring to, everybody. Jennifer Wilkin, Book of James. Bye, everybody. God bless.